We are back.
And yes, we are back. We are the Coalition Loud and Proud, and you've heard me all night. We are outrage, porn-free, civilly disobedient media. And if I can harken back to one of our quotes from original days, if you're the media and you're not adversarial, you're advertising. Joining me in studio is my good friend, Monique. That's what we're going to call you now. We're not going to use your last name. Like Cher, you are a person with just one name here in the Rhode Island political firmament. She's going to join us in a second. Of course, I have to talk about the two screens you've seen flashing me behind all night. Of course, Beacon Shipping and Logistics. Folks, anywhere you are in this country, if you're libertarian and you're still listening in your Montana, if you're just down the street from our last guest, Corey Watkins, these folks support Libertarian Radio. They are amongst the finest vehicle transportation and logistics specialists in the nation. They support car dealers across the nation in shipping everything from the humblest Ford Fiesta on up to the most expensive luxury cars. If your kid's going to college, if you're moving out for that new job, or you bought that car online from Cali and you got to get it out here to Rhode Island or Boston, they are the place to go. I use them personally all the time. iServices LLC. We're going to put up their Facebook post on the website this weekend. We'd like all of you to take a moment to friend their Facebook page. They've been with us since the beginning. Frank and his hearty crew out in Portsmouth. Everything you need IT-wise. SEO, search engine optimization. See, I'm smiling like that. All right. Whether you need antivirus support, service support, networking, they can do it all for you. Again, these are two local Rhode Island companies that have national reach. They support libertarian and indie media. Folks, I'm going to be blunt. It takes balls to do that. It's easy to go with the status quo with the established media players. It's safe. You've listened tonight for the last 3 hours. We have avoided, and we continue to avoid, no controversy. We embrace controversy. We embrace conflict, whether it be here in the halls of the State House, on public television, on the streets of La Prade. We hide from no one. We shirk from no one. As we like to say, do not mistake our kindness for weakness. We may be polite, but we're new in town, we're bold, we're mighty, we're strong, and we're ready to take on the status quo. And there is no better person who routinely takes on the status quo than my good friend Monique. Welcome back to the coalition. It's been a few weeks.
Thank you so much, Pat.
We've only got 10 or 15 minutes, so I want to get right down to it.
Thank
What
you.
are some of the issues in your world right now that you feel we need to tackle?
Well, oh my goodness, thank you. Perhaps continue to keep the General Assembly out of session. I see that we're like a little less poor as long as they're not in session and not approving the 2018 budget. Sad to say.
What's your take on that? What's there's so many conflicting stories now.
Yes.
It's
turned into a real soap opera. From a political geek's perspective, it's just been fabulous, just back and forth.
I think in all homage to Carol Burnett, but I think she would have termed this soap opera as the stomach turns. You know?
Yes. Yep. It's hard to know. I mean, maybe there's going to be a meeting. No, there is a meeting, but then they didn't get very far. It's hard to know what's going on. Are you hearing anything?
They don't want to talk to me. There is so little interest in talking to me at this point. I'm not invited to Christmas dinner anywhere at this point. I am the skunk in the room. So, and that's
honestly, that's a badge of honor.
Well, and even with Christmas more than 90 days away and most of the court orders of protection probably expiring before then, I'm probably still not invited back. Well, I guess, again, from your perspective now, you're involved with a number of organizations, the
Yes.
Gatsby Project, Center for Freedom and Prosperity.
Yes.
Now, you've got some organizations that can propose legislation. You've got some organizations that can actively lobby. You've got other organizations that are involved technically as a not-for-profit.
Right.
So are you guys gearing up for a potential, particularly given the PawSox situation, are you guys gearing up for a potential run at the legislature this fall?
Well, certainly the Gatsby project is most definitely going to be sending out informational flyers to invite in certain targeted districts to inform voters about the anti-business, anti-taxpayer record of certain legislators.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So stay tuned to that. And we please, GatsbyProject.com. Please, if you'd like to support that effort, we'd love to have your support. Absolutely, we are going to be very much involved in educating the public about the voting records of legislators.
You talk about skunks in the room. I guess we still technically, you can't really do an index because the session really never closed, did
No,
it?
that's exactly right, it's still in recess.
Right.
Exactly.
So there's really no way for you to assess who's pro or con. Have any heroes arisen in your mind during this sort of, I feel like this is almost like the Pope is, they're trying to elect a new Pope right now. And we still get every day at 5 o'clock, we look up and we see black smoke coming out of Smith Hill. And the Pope contest has come down to a match between Mr. Speaker and you're here, you're a lady, so Dominic. Dominic, whose CVS card got revoked. We'll just leave it that way. Okay, so short of that, we're completely at an impasse, aren't we?
It seems that way, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. And we have the governor saying things from the sidelines and I guess trying to be helpful.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Earlier today I was in another media outlet and I kind of threw them for a loop when I talked about the notion that, number one, we had an opportunity for a constitutional convention a couple years ago. We passed on that.
Very disappointing. That was there was some serious misinformation that was given
Right.
out to prevent that.
In your mind, and this is kind of out of left field, but the next time we get that chance, obviously we need to embrace it. Is it time, even with someone as loathsome, and my words, not yours, as Gina Raimondo in the governor's office, is it time for changes to be made to A, potentially try and even the playing field between the governor and the respective houses, and B, my new thing as of this morning is tongue planted firmly in cheek is to argue for a unicameral legislature and effectively do away with the notion of a Senate and a House, because
That's a big step.
they just it'll never happen. But the conversation that it will provoke, discussion of Senate, to me is intriguing because they're clearly, even though both of them now are finally speaking in their inside voices, they're clearly incapable of governing at really any level. So do we just force the issue and just do away with one of them?
Certainly, I think, we should have the discussion. I'm not sure I would favor that, but absolutely, we should have the discussion, absolutely.
Should the governor be more powerful in this state?
Minimally, she should have the line item veto. I would certainly think that.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that there needs to be more balance in, party-wise at the General Assembly, whether it's more libertarians, more Republicans.
Well, if we could just even the Democrats and the second party, the Libertarians, and then that other party, the Republicans, we can invite them. They can have a couple people come and play.
Absolutely, I think that's important. I think that's very important. You asked if there were any heroes, and it's still very early to do that. We're still working on the scorecard. But one that I was just going through some positive bills, and one of the positive bills that came up was presented by Rep. Jared Nunes, and he put in a bill that would have changed the rules of the House so that all of the but that's sad to say true.
That's so judgmental. Sooner or later you're going to be one of those negative people who just doesn't.
Nelly?
Yeah, you too can be a nattering nabob of negativity. And say that 3 times fast.
I can, exactly.
So Rep Nunes, ironically, is a Democrat.
He is. But God bless him, 5295 changed the House rules so that you couldn't kill a bill by holding it in committee, required unanimous consent to suspend the rules, make the budget available, here's a crazy thought, make the budget available well before the committee votes on it, this kind of thing, so that's a more informed.
Madness.
Yes, it's absolute madness. So this was a bill that he put in, God bless him. I think there were also other bills that were put in that were sort of similar to that would have improved what goes on at the end of the session. It didn't go anywhere, but that would certainly be one of the heroes that I would point to.
Was that met with either A, open laughter, B, derisive chortles, or was there just quiet snickers?
I don't know what happened behind the closed doors, but it was held in committee, regrettably. So.
For further study.
Yes, exactly.
Has anyone ever asked how the study is going? I mean, in
question.
light of the news this week, I want to know what's going to happen more quickly. Further study or OJ finding the killer. What do you, what do you think?
Oh.
I mean, there's ever been a situation where actual further study has been done?
Very rarely, very rarely. It really is just a polite way of killing a bill.
Because Mr. Speaker is nothing if not polite. Um,
Do we have time for one quick?
Absolutely, go
Okay,
please,
thank you,
go
thank
right
you.
into it.
So I also a contributor to the Ocean State Current, oceanstatecurrent.com, and the DCYF has regrettably been in the news recently.
Right.
And there have been horrifying deaths of children on their radar. So Ocean State Current, I went back and looked at the staffing levels at DCYF compared to the staffing levels of the Department of Administration, and
Ooh,
yeah, what has
Go ahead,
happened?
please.
What has
Elaborate.
happened since from 2014, just before Gina Raimondo came into office, and what those staffing levels are now in 2017. So if you add up the staffing levels of the DCYF plus the Child Advocate, those staffing levels of those two departments together are down by 11. The Department of Administration has gained 45 employees, FTEs, as they say. So my question is, what is the governor's priority that her hiring went up for the Department of Administration, which I'm sure is an important department, but I would contend not as important as DCYF and the lives of children.
and the odds that the salary and the compensation levels for the people at the Department of Administration on a per capita basis were probably slightly or more than slightly higher
Well,
than those hired at DCYF?
that's an awesome question. I didn't even.
I know,
that's an
I'm
awesome
just
question.
throwing that
I
out
don't know.
rhetorically. I'm assuming that if you take the average salary of a caseworker at DCYF and squared it, it would still be less than some of the folks make at Department of Administration. Now, forgive my naivete on this subject,
Please.
but clearly the training school was in the news this week.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Is the training? Who does the training school? And it's okay if you don't know this, but
Okay.
kind of throwing this at you. But are they under DCYF?
That's
Or?
my understanding, yes. They are under
Okay.
DCYF. They are not part of the Department of Corrections.
So you know, if I can.
And are you aware that their superintendent of the training school has been on paid administrative leave for the past 22 months?
If I can quote directly from the quotation of one of my favorite politicians, that's super duper.
So here we have riots going on at the training school.
Right.
And the man, I mean, I would say that he's needed. I don't think he's needed at home. I think he's needed on the job. Why
Or
has he been
perhaps
on?
his replacement?
Or right, if he's done something wrong, okay, let's ask him to move on and replace him. Obviously, we need somebody in charge there, because it's just unbelievable to me that, and of course, Channel 10 did the story where there's like 61 state employees on paid leave, and it turns out he's one of them. What's going on? We don't want all these people on paid leave. We want them either working or replaced, as you said.
Again, rhetorical question. Do you think it's fair to say that more time is spent on rehabilitating Gina's image or rehabilitating DCYF?
I will just say that she just hired a $61,000 a year videographer to follow her around and make videos of her. So I'm afraid that is the answer to the question, unfortunately.
Right. So really, the state of Rhode Island and its various projects are nothing more than a necessary inconvenience and excuse for Gina Raimondo to have a job for which she can use as a platform for national office. Is that what you're saying?
It's hard not to conclude that with everything that we're seeing, unfortunately. She's unfortunately not being guided by the best interest of the state. She is being guided by lots of other things, not the best interest of the state.
A group, a magazine that I'd never heard of before, Rhode Island, this week posted a story, and I think I called you in the middle of the night, retching violently. And it had nothing to do with hot leaders. I was verklempt because of the gushing, childlike, tiger beat like analysis. Like she's got like 3 degrees. Like, wow. And yet children are dying, aren't they?
Yes, literally dying under the current administration.
I have a lot of friends of progressives, and I will never taint them by associating Gina Raimondo with them. So I will never consider her a progressive. But she would directly be out of the camp of, we have to do this for the children, don't we? And yet at the same time, and I apologize because I have sort of a gallows humor to all this, but little babies are dying here in Rhode Island at an appalling rate.
It's absolutely horrifying.
And we continue to introduce new laws on the books. We have lots of studies, lots of research, lots of top-down investigations into exactly what's going on, but little babies are dying.
How is that acceptable? It's just not acceptable. completely
in the United
unacceptable.
States in the year 2017.
Right,
Here in the state of Rhode Island,
right.
people are going hungry, people are dying,
Mhm.
people continue to lose their homes,
Mhm.
people continue to struggle to find employment.
Yep. It's not good. It is not good at all.
What are we gonna do?
Continue to speak out and ask the public to pay attention and contact their legislators and contact their elected officials.
People are, they wanna build a baseball stadium. They wanna have governors' conferences. It's pay to play now, through the fine investigative reporting here at Go Local by Kate Nagel and her crew. We were treated to the notion today that it is pay to play. I think I quoted Lou Reed yesterday, you know, Gina, take a walk on the wild side, everybody's got to pay to play. So,
Yeah.
in that case, we were treated to the notion that $20,000 and $30,000 and $50,000 checks were being thrown at Gina so that business could have private, direct access to governmental leaders. We had,
Oh, I was at work all day today. I didn't hear about this.
oh yeah, this is just a great story.
GoLocalProv.com apparently.
Yep, Elon Musk visited Rhode Island,
Okay. Yes, yes.
and we walk away with, as a state, we get to find us within a visual of this location right now. And unfortunately, we gotta go. I wanna get you back in the next couple of weeks. But from this seat right here, I can see assets of Brown University and the Rhode Island School of Design, two of the finest universities literally on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
which could be directly connected to any one of a number of Elon Musk's his enterprises, and we have nothing to show for it. But Gina got access, and babies are dying.
Unacceptable, completely unacceptable.
Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ford.
Let's 2 weeks from now, we'll have you back if you can.
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
I will write that down.
Okay, and to keep the fires burning.
Excellent, excellent.